The Henderson family Christmas gathering was going exactly as expected. Expensive gifts being exchanged in our ancestral mansion's great room, while I sat in the corner wearing last year's sweater. "And for you, dear," Mom said with that particular tone reserved for charity cases, sliding a grocery store gift card across the antique coffee table. "I know things have been difficult since you left the company." I picked up the $100 gift card, noting how my siblings avoided eye contact. Last year, when I'd quit my VP position at Henderson Electronics to start my own venture, they'd called it a predictable midlife crisis. "Thanks, Mom," I said quietly, pocketing the card next to my phone, which was currently orchestrating the largest tech acquisition of the decade. "If you'd just come back," Dad started his usual speech. "Your old position is still—" My phone buzzed. Then everyone's phones buzzed. The room filled with notification sounds as breaking news alerts hit every device simultaneously. Dad's face went from patronizing to pale as he read the headline. "Breaking. Neural tech startup acquires Henderson Electronics for $3.7 billion. "What?" my sister Caroline gasped, frantically refreshing her screen. "This must be a mistake." "No mistake," I said, standing up and smoothing my off-the-rack sweater. "Though I should correct that headline. We're not really a startup anymore." "We?" Dad's voice cracked. "What do you mean we?" I pulled out my phone, showing them the Neural Tech logo, my company's logo. "Remember that hobby you all laughed at? Turns out artificial intelligence was a better investment than legacy electronics." The room fell silent as decades of family dynamics shifted in an instant. The Christmas tree lights twinkled obliviously as my mother's hand flew to her pearl necklace. But you've been borrowing money," she stammered. "The gift card." "Market research," I replied, watching the stock ticker climb on my phone. "Had to understand how people really live, not just how the boardroom thinks they live." The family butler appeared at the doorway looking flustered. "Sir, there are reporters at the gate. They're asking for—" He turned to me. "The new CEO?" "The new CEO?" my brother Thomas sputtered, his designer suit suddenly looking cheap. "But you've been living in that tiny apartment, driving that old car." "Living below my means," I corrected him, "while building something that actually matters. Did you really think I was failing just because I wasn't flaunting wealth?" I pulled up the real-time acquisition details on my phone, projecting them onto the living room wall. Henderson Electronics stock price was soaring, their final surge before becoming part of something much bigger. "Those weekend shifts you mocked me for missing family gatherings?" I continued. "I was in Japan closing deals with quantum computing pioneers. That cheap apartment you pitted me for houses the most advanced AI development lab in the hemisphere." Dad collapsed into his leather armchair, the one he'd always held court from during family meetings. "But we never saw any signs." "You weren't looking," I said simply. "Too busy counting the same old money to notice new money being made. Remember last Easter when you said I was wasting my potential on computer games?" I pulled up footage of Neuraltech's gaming division, now the world's leading AI training platform. "Those games just revolutionized machine learning. While you were selling outdated chips, we were teaching computers to think." The butler reappeared. "The board of directors is on an emergency conference call. They're requesting—" "Tell them their severance packages will be generous," I cut in. "But the old guard is done. We're building something new." My sister Caroline, head of marketing at Henderson Electronics, found her voice. "The rebranding campaign we just launched is obsolete," I finished. "Like most of your technology. Though I have to admit, watching you market outdated products helped me understand exactly what the industry was missing." My phone buzzed again, this time with congratulations from tech leaders around the world. People who'd seen what I was building while my family was busy pitying my downfall. "The gift card," Mom whispered, staring at her hands. "All those times we tried to help you were perfect cover," I nodded. "Nothing hides success better than people's assumptions about failure. While you were feeling sorry for me, I was learning everything about how traditional tech companies miss opportunities. Like the AI revolution you dismissed as science fiction last Christmas." The sound of helicopters grew louder outside, media crews arriving to cover the biggest tech acquisition story of the year. "Those reporters will want statements," I said, standing up. I suggest you all take a moment to process this before speaking publicly. The world is watching now. I walked to the door, then turned back one last time. Oh, and Mom? About that gift card. I pulled it out and placed it back on the coffee table. I think someone else might need this more. Change can be difficult. The room remained frozen as I left, the weight of realization settling over my family like the snow falling outside. Through the window, I caught one last glimpse of their faces. The same faces that had smiled condescendingly at my struggles for the past year. Sometimes the best success is the kind they never see coming, even when it's right in front of them. And sometimes the greatest gift isn't the one that comes in a card. It's the look on their faces when they realize just how wrong they've been. The media circus outside our family mansion grew as news of the acquisition spread. Inside, my family huddled in the study, their traditional war room for business crises. Only this time they weren't the ones in control. The board has officially accepted the offer, my assistant Sarah announced via video call. The same Sarah who Dad had rejected as unqualified for an entry-level position last year. Now she was executing a multi-billion-dollar takeover. But there must be some way to stop this, Dad argued, his authority crumbling with each passing minute. I still own controlling shares. Owned, I corrected, bringing up the ownership structure. Past tense. While you were focused on maintaining your position, the market was changing. Just like I tried to tell you 3 years ago. The study's antique walls now displayed real-time data from Neuraltech's global operations. AI systems transforming industries, neural networks reshaping technology, and at the center of it all, the company they dismissed as my hobby. Those board meetings I was too busy to attend? I continued. I was meeting with your biggest clients, showing them the future while you sold them the past. Caroline clutched her designer handbag like a shield. But my marketing team has been inadvertently helping us, I nodded. Every campaign highlighting your traditional values just emphasized how outdated your technology had become. Perfect market research for our AI systems. Thomas stood up, straightening his tie. Surely there's a place for us in the new structure. There is, I confirmed, pulling up the reorganization chart. Starting at the bottom. The bottom. Mom's voice shook. But we're Hendersons. Names don't matter in tech, I replied. Results do. And right now, your entire executive team has less combined technical knowledge than our junior developers. My phone lit up with another notification. Excuse me, I said, checking the message. Our quantum computing division just achieved another breakthrough. The one you said was impossible last Thanksgiving. Quantum computing? Dad whispered. But your proposal, the one you rejected? I smiled. Became the foundation of our new architecture. While you were protecting your legacy systems, we built something that made them obsolete. The door opened as a team of Neuraltech executives entered, all former outsiders who'd seen the future coming. Your office has been cleared, my new head of operations informed Dad. The transition team is ready to begin. My office. Dad stood up, his face reddening. Now see here. No, Dad, I cut in firmly. You see here. I gestured to the wall of screens, now showing Henderson Electronics' plummeting market value alongside Neuraltech's soaring trajectory. While you were maintaining your corner office, we were building the future. That wasteful research budget you cut? Funded breakthroughs that just made your entire product line obsolete. But the family legacy, Mom began, is exactly what held the company back, I interrupted. You were so busy protecting the past you missed the future. Those AI experiments you called risky just revolutionized 3 industries. The quantum project you dismissed is now powering systems that make your best technology look like pocket calculators. Sarah's voice came through the intercom. The press is requesting a statement about the leadership transition. Tell them it's effective immediately, I replied, watching my family process their new reality. And Sarah, remember that diversity initiative they rejected last spring? Already implementing it, she confirmed, along with the technical training program they said was unnecessary. Dad sank back into his chair, the weight of decades of missed opportunities visible in his posture. You planned this all along? No, Dad. You planned this. Every time you dismissed innovation as impractical. Every time you chose tradition over progress. Every time you told me to stick to what works instead of building what's next. I pulled up the company's new organizational chart. You all have choices to make. You can either join the new structure, starting with actual technical training, not just management titles, or you can cash out now. Either way, Henderson Electronics becomes neural tech by midnight. Technical training? Caroline looked horrified. You expect us to learn coding? Like you expected me to learn your outdated systems? I countered. Consider it an education in humility. One you clearly need. My phone buzzed with updates from our global operations. AI systems solving problems, quantum computers processing data, and innovations flowing from the very teams my family had overlooked. Now, if you'll excuse me, I stood up. I have a company to run. One that values ideas over inheritance, innovation over tradition, and actual ability over family names. As I reached the door, I turned back one final time. Oh, and Dad, remember when you said technology was in our blood? He nodded silently. You were right. You just didn't understand which generation's blood would make it flow forward. The door closed behind me as I headed to my first press conference as CEO. Through the window, I could see my family still sitting in the study, surrounded by screens showing the future they'd failed to see coming. The first month after the acquisition passed in a blur of press conferences, restructuring meetings, and watching my family adjust to their new reality. They'd all chosen to stay, though I suspect pride played a larger role than passion. I stood in what used to be Dad's corner office, now converted into an open workspace for our AI development team, watching the sunrise over the city skyline. The same view he'd guarded for 30 years now served as inspiration for young developers revolutionizing technology. Your father's requesting a meeting, Sarah announced, entering with her tablet. Again. Location? I asked, though I already knew. The Basement Learning Center. He's struggling with the basic coding curriculum. I smiled slightly, remembering all the times he'd dismissed programming as just typing. How's Mom doing? Actually, Sarah checked her notes. She's surprising everyone. Turns out she has a natural talent for quantum theory. Dr. Chin says she's asking the right questions. She always did, I mused. Just never had permission to pursue the answers. The office screens displayed our global operations. AI systems solving climate challenges, quantum computers revolutionizing medicine, neural networks reshaping education. All projects my family had once called distractions from the real business. I found Dad in the learning center staring frustrated at lines of code. The former CEO of Henderson Electronics, struggling with what our intern candidates mastered in high school. Need help? I asked, sitting beside him. This is humiliating, he muttered. I ran this company for 3 decades. Into the ground, I finished gently. Because you never understood what you were running. But now you have a chance to learn. Your sister Caroline, he changed the subject. I heard she's actually doing well in the AI ethics division. Turns out all those years of marketing spin gave her unique insights into human behavior. She's helping our AI systems understand nuance. The screens around us showed real-time data from our global operations. Dad squinted at the quantum computing metrics. Those numbers, he said slowly, they're better than anything we ever achieved. Because we're not just selling technology anymore, I explained. We're advancing it. Remember when you said innovation was too expensive? He nodded, looking at his basic coding exercise. The cost of not innovating was higher, I continued. Every breakthrough you rejected, every idea you dismissed, every person you overlooked, they all found their way to companies that understood the future. Like yours, he said quietly. Like ours, I corrected him. If you're willing to learn. My phone buzzed with news from our Mars colonization project, the one he'd called science fiction nonsense last year. Now it was making headlines worldwide. Your mother, Dad said, still staring at his screen, she's different now. Excited about something for the first time in years. Because she's finally allowed to be more than just a CEO's wife. Those quantum theories she's studying? She used to read about them in secret, thinking it wasn't proper for her position. The learning center filled with young developers arriving for morning sessions. They nodded respectfully to us both. Not because of our names, but because here, everyone was simply a student of the future. I've been thinking, Dad said, closing his laptop. About what you said at Christmas. About seeing what's right in front of us. And I never saw you, he admitted. Not really. Too busy looking at what I thought you should be to see what you were becoming. The screens showed another breakthrough from our quantum team, led by Mom's research group. Her first patent application was already in process. It's not too late, I told him. To build something real. Something that matters. Like what? He asked, sounding genuinely curious for the first time in years. Like a company where good ideas matter more than good connections. Where innovation isn't limited by tradition. Where even old CEOs can learn new tricks. My phone buzzed with updates. Our education initiative was transforming schools, our AI systems were solving global challenges, and our quantum computers were rewriting the rules of possibility. Welcome to the real family business, I said, watching the future unfold on screens that once showed only profit margins. Now let's debug that code.